Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Race for Eeloo. So last time we were finally able, after arguably too many tries, we were finally able to make it to a flyby of the Mun with a very small probe. I don't think I've ever made a probe that small and actually got it anywhere. Not for lack of... Actually, yes, entirely for lack of trying. I've never needed a probe that small to go anywhere, but anyway. I've got this new rocket here. This is the Artemis 6. And you would not be wrong if you accused this rocket of being a little unorthodox. It looks kind of odd, at least to me, just to have like it looks. It's something about this just bothers me. But we're gonna go with it because I feel like it'll work reasonably well. Now we're gonna try and get a Kerbal but near the Mun this time, and with more science instrumentation, this should be far more profitable than the last mission. Now, with the science that I gained from that last mission, I was able to get the larger fuel tanks, so the enhanced rocketry parts, other than I was not able to get the engines, like the big engines that I wanted, but I was able to get these fuel tanks here, and the first set of, I think they're 2.5 meter fuel tanks. Now this is the part that makes me go, what? Let's see, what can I do here? Yeah, anyway, this is the part that just makes me go, what the hell? This is so odd. But anyway, this is probably ill-advised, but so what I did was I made the base have more oomph, because this upper assembly here ended up being 7 times heavier than the probe that we launched last time, so I definitely needed more oomph in the lower stages. I think I have the same amount up here, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but we've got I believe we net more fuel this time around. So we've already taken off in this. Again, it's such a weird rocket to start off with, but we're gonna go with what we got, and I will see you guys in orbit. All right, and here we are in our orbit. We made it into orbit with about the same amount of fuel as we had last time, maybe just a little bit less. Now, the only reason why that concerns me is because we have the same amount of fuel as we did before, but we have a upper stage, or I should say, a pod assembly up here that's 7 times heavier. So I'm not entirely certain if this is going to be enough fuel to get us into a encounter with the Mun. But I can say for certain that we're definitely going to need one of those free return trips this time that we didn't quite get last time. Intentionally, anyway. We did eventually get one, but it was certainly not intentional. So we're at a good point where we can start boosting, and we're just gonna wait now. So let's see. Just like last time, we've got about another 80 seconds of fuel left, but our delta V overall, I think our overall acceleration is lower than it was last time. So I hope that that's enough fuel. It's certainly going to be. We're certainly going to have less overall once we actually get our encounter. Yeah, at this point the pod assembly weighs more than the amount of fuel that we have left, but I think we're gonna get the encounter that we want. Now that's a free return, but it's not gonna put us near to the Mun, which is kind of what we want to get. Now, unfortunately, I think if we want to get that close to the Mun, Ooh, 3,000. That's a little too close. At that point, we stand a risk of hitting a tall hill. So 13,000. 13,000 is perfect. And at that point, I want to say we'll have enough fuel with at this point to drop us back down to the surface. 209 meters per second delta V. Our max acceleration right now is 10 meters per second. Yeah, I think we can do it. I think we have enough fuel left. Just doing some quick math in my head, just off the top of my head, I think we have enough fuel to do it. Let's see. And our acceleration will actually increase as we burn fuel. But I will see you guys when we're closer to the Mun. Okay, and once again, we have entered the Mun's... I keep wanting to call it the Mun for obvious reasons, but we have entered the Mun's sphere of influence, and we are drawing ever closer. Now, the goo units are already going to have exhausted most of their science capability just from the previous mission, so I'm not going to use those right away. Let's see, where is the Mun, first of all? Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, that looks a little too small to be the Mun, and a little too blue, maybe. Anyway, here we are. We are going to pull in closer. Oh, I forgot I can take some crew reports out here. There's 10 science, EVA report, another 16 science, and now we're just going to shuffle some stuff around here, do our little jig. And now we're going to pull in really close to the Mun all of a sudden. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Now, the only reason I'm saving the Science Junior is because it gives you so much more if you're closer to the Mun, and I'll have another chance to get the other stuff that I'm looking for at another time. Okay, so I think we're going to get quite a lot of science here, guys. Everything looks good so far. I'm very pleased with our success this time, first time around, considering how much difficulty we've had with the rest of this whole ordeal. But I think we're still getting closer. Wow. Yeah, that was our closest point, 11,397. So that's pretty good. It almost looks like it's right there. Like it's honestly not that far away now. I kind of want to go down to it, but we'll have to wait on that. We might get to that in this video, but I'm not so sure. Anyway, we're on our way out now, so I will see you guys at the next launch. I'll make sure to let you know what I get in terms of science. Okay, well, with that last boon of science that I got from going to the Mun and coming back, I was able to unlock some space plane parts. Now, this is naturally very primitive, and we're not actually going to do anything with this other than I'm just going to fly this around the spaceport just for a little bit, just as a nice little interlude. Probably won't take more than a couple minutes. But yeah, we're just going to fly around a little bit and have some fun. Actually, I can get a tiny bit of science from this. Oh, that might have not been smart. Oh. Well, I mean, Bill hopped out, so I mean, this thing is just gonna fly, I guess. Oh! Oh dear. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even realize that was there. That or that it was like hittable, I guess. I didn't realize I felt like you would just clip through something like that. But wow, okay. Well, that was an excellent start to the aviation program here. Okay, we're just gonna try that again real quick. And hopefully my stupid doesn't kick in. And I guess I'm surprised that the cockpit itself actually survived, but we did get a good bit of science from that actually, considering we've never actually been on the runway before. But we'll go ahead and launch that again, and hopefully we won't do anything stupid, or I think I should say I won't do anything stupid. Just gonna. I'm actually kind of slipping just a tiny bit, and that is the technical term in flying. It's not just me being silly. No, I am actually slipping. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm turning the fuselage of my plane into the wind so that it creates a ridiculous amount of drag, and I should probably start slowing down, maybe just a tiny bit. Oh god. I start losing a lot of speed really quickly because the drag from my fuselage is so intense. Also, this is not ideal. Oh, okay. No, I don't think this is gonna work. Nah, no. Uh-oh. That might have been the end of Bill Kerman. Okay. Yep. No. Okay. Well, alright, yeah. See? K1 Jason. Jason, the most useless hero ever. Ugh. Can't even keep Bill Kerman alive. No! Bill Kerman was killed. Oh man, okay. Well, that's enough of that silliness before I kill any more Kerbals. So we're just gonna go back to the rockets, and I will see you on the launch pad once I have the next one made. And we're back. So I have designed a bigger and better rocket. We have Bob Kerman in the cockpit, and this mission, now that we have successfully completed a flyby in both a probe and a manned pod, we're going for the landing. We're gonna do it. Apollo 11, except not even close, more like Artemis 7 right here. So, let's see. I did unlock the full package that I was talking about with the bigger, like the 2.5 meter attachments, the 2.5 meter fuel tanks and rockets and so on. So I'm using those for this. And I'm hoping that this upper stage here will have enough fuel and Delta V in it to get me into a Munner encounter. Oh boy, we're getting some. I suppose it's exit heating instead of re-entry heating, but oh boy, I'm gonna kill the power on my skipper engine on the bottom there so that I don't get too hot. I say that, but we're still gonna hit 1 kilometer per second inside the atmosphere, so it's gonna be pretty warm. Now, very important thing to note: if you're ever going to jettison a stage in the atmosphere like that, like I just did, you probably don't want to be thrusting while you do, because what's gonna happen is that falling debris is going to hit your engine, as has happened to me so many times, and it's going to knock out your engine, and you're just going to be like, well, and you're going to have nothing you can do about it. So be very, very careful when you're changing stages and you have something like that going on. Okay, so I will see you guys once we have the orbit, and check in with you then. Alright, and here we are in orbit. We are ready to start our burn towards the Mun, and hopefully we can make it there in one try for the landing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and get a direct landing. I'm going to try and not have to burn it all once I'm inside the Mun sphere of influence, so that I can get that landing right away. And I'll demonstrate what I mean here in just a minute, but let's go ahead and start our burn right here. Now, I almost got into orbit on that entire first stage alone. Like, you can see I've only just barely used some fuel from that second stage. That entire first stage got me my orbit almost completely. And I was very happy about this, because that means that this might have enough fuel to slow us down before we land with this. And this will have enough fuel in it left to get us back off the Mun. Let's see, there's our approach. And there we go. Now you see, if we look at where our intersect is going to be, there's no periapse, which means that it's inside the Mun. So we're going to get that direct landing without having to burn at all once we're inside the sphere of influence. So here we go. We're just going to time accelerate up to that point, and it looks like we're going to get to be just on the edge of day and night on the Mun, which is perfect. That's going to give us just enough light. Also looks like we're going to land right inside the crater, which I believe is its own region. Okay. Now before we get too close, we do want to adjust our angle here so that we can slow down in time. And be pointing the right way. So I'm just going to burn a little bit and kind of arrest my movement. Let's see, now we can get a little further down. Now, since I'm in space over the far side crater, I'm fairly certain there's a bit of science to be done. Oh, no? No? Okay, never mind. So we'll just go ahead and boost then. Slow ourselves down as much as we can. We should be able to slow ourselves down completely before we get anywhere close to the surface. We're already at 550 meters per second or so, and we've only dropped about maybe 3,000 meters since we started burning. So I think we're doing fairly well here. That is a massive crater. Now, it does look like, unfortunately, we're going to waste a whole bunch of this fuel since we're not going to be able to use it. But I mean, unless we were to somehow land exactly on the engine itself without destroying it. Excuse me. Unless we were to land exactly on the engine itself without destroying it, we're not going to be able to use that fuel again. We would just end up jettisoning it so that we could use our smaller engine to get back. But if we can land exactly on that engine, we might be able to just take a whole bunch of science and then take off again immediately. Now, at this point, I can't time accelerate anymore because we're under 5,000 meters, and that's the limit on Kerbin, or not on Kerbin, on the Mun. We're not on Kerbin. We've made it. We did it. We've made it to the Mun. We're not there anymore. Oh, this is when it starts to get tense. When you can see like the terrain become much more defined as it rushes up towards you. Okay, basically kill all of our velocity in hopes that we can kind of keep it stable until we hit the Mun. Don't destroy the engine, don't destroy that engine, don't destroy that engine. Oh, okay, we got the bounce. We're on the Mun. We did it. Okay. Now I wanted to do that as quickly as possible so that I could get away and not tip over, because then it becomes a much bigger issue trying to get back off the surface again. So I'm going to use what fuel I have left in there to try and get myself into another biome and hopefully get that much more data. So if I jump there, that should get me a good bit more science. So I will see you guys when we're getting closer to the ground. Okay, and we are now on our final descent back towards the Mun. I'm very happy that actually went well. That strategy actually worked for the most part, because otherwise we would have had probably about twice as much, maybe even 3 times as much fuel that's in there now that we wouldn't have even been able to use. But since we took that small risk, we were able to maximize our yields, let's say. So we're actually really close to landing back on the Mun now. Go ahead and bleed off that final bit of speed, and as much fuel as I have. Oh, okay, going back up now. Okay. That was my mistake. I boosted a little too long, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna come back down. Okay. Now we're getting good enough speed heading back towards the Mun, and I think now's the time when we want to jettison that fuel tank, because we're not going to get any more mileage out of it. We can't afford to take another jump. So, go ahead and burn it just a tiny bit, drop it, and then move off to the side so that we don't land on it. Okay. This is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Come on. Stay. Yes, we did it. Awesome. Now we're on the Mun. We did it, guys. We made it. This is the first time that we've that we've stepped beyond Kerbin. That we've really actually taken a step beyond Kerbin. I say that we take, metaphorical steps, but now we can take literal steps. I believe it was Obi-Wan Kenobi who said to Anakin, or not to Anakin, to Luke, "You've just taken your first step into a larger world." I think the phrase befits our current situation. We're going to take as much data as we can from this place. Oh, but more importantly, we should not forget the two who have now sacrificed themselves for us to get this far. Albeit one of them probably shouldn't have died. But either way, I think we're going to call this in loving memory to Jebediah and Bill Kerman. I kind of forgot his name for a second. Who gave so much for us to take this seemingly immense step only next door in our solar neighborhood. There we go. I like that. That's good. So, let's see. Now we're just gonna pop him back in there. I think we can go ahead and set ourselves up to go home. So I think I just have to burn excuse me. I think I just have to burn straight in one direction, and that'll put us onto the course that we want. So I'm just gonna fiddle around with this here and see which way it is that we want. No, we want to go this way. We want to go this way. Because what that's going to do is that's going to make us burn out to the right of the Mun on your screen. I'm not recording my cursor, so you can't really see where I'm pointing. But it'll make us shoot out to the right of the Mun, and in doing that, we reduce our orbital velocity, since our orbital velocity is equal to the Mun's when we're on the Mun. But since we're boosting this way, opposite to that rotational velocity, not rotational, orbital velocity, we're shrinking our periaps already. The only reason we can't see that yet is because we're still within the sphere of influence of the Mun. But as soon as this expands far enough, we will be able to see that our periaps is in fact shrinking in relation to Kerbin. See? Yeah, there it goes. It's just shrinking like crazy. And there's our return. Excellent! We've made a successful first landing on the Mun. I think that's a good place to call this one, and I'm very happy with the results. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Alright everybody, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been getting some feedback about my videos at this point, mostly pertaining to their length. Now the League of Legends videos are generally okay because they're only about 10 minutes long, or at least I try to get them to be that way. The Teemo video was a little longer, and the All for One special was a special, so I don't really count that one. But mostly pertaining to the Kerbal Space Program videos, the Kerbal Space Program videos I've noticed have been creeping up in time. I think the first couple were really close to, or about 20 minutes or so. But I mean, this one is going to be nearly 27 minutes, and that's just a little too long. So I'm going to start budgeting the time on those a little differently, trying to get them closer to maybe 15 minutes, if that sounds okay. My only concern is that I don't really, at 15 minutes, I wouldn't really have enough content. I really don't feel like I would do very much in those 15 minutes of Kerbal Space Program, because sometimes things just take a long time, and that'll get easier further along as there's more stuff that I cut out that's just mundane, like orbital transfers and liftoff and orbital insertions and so on and so forth. But at least for right now, it just doesn't feel like I'm going to get a whole lot into 15 minutes. But I am going to start trying to shorten them a good bit. Now, at least as of this moment, I do have Kerbal Space Program Part 6 already recorded, so after that, Part 7 is going to be shorter. So I am going to take that into consideration, because trust me, I see how long it's getting, so I'm going to start cutting them down. Same to a lesser degree with Civilization 5. I like those to be around about 20 minutes, and that's where they have been for the most part, so I'm okay with that. And League of Legends is going to be just as normal. So it's just Kerbal Space Program that's going to start getting cut. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this rather extended video. But make sure to stay tuned this coming Friday for Civilization 5 Part 5, and next Monday for the next League of Legends video that I post, which I'm feeling is going to be a Karma video. So, going to be lots of fun. Thanks, guys.